Welcome to Twist Talks, where we talk about the Japanese game Twisted Wonderland.
We discuss theories, headcanons, and other random nonsense about the game and its characters.
For the sake of spoilers within our podcast topics, we will only be discussing the international release over the Japanese release.
Hi, I'm Talissa, and my pronouns are she, her.
Hi, I'm Caden, and my pronouns are I don't give a fuck.
Hi, I'm Wonder, and I use any pronouns.
Hi, this is Twist Talks, and today is my episode on who I hate or what I hate in the fandom. Just a reminder, my name's Caden. My pronouns are all of them. Okay, so let's get into it. If you've been watching for a while, you probably know that I have a deep hatred for Jamil Viper. If you didn't know, you probably aren't listening correctly. I'm kidding. So today, I will be talking about my hate and why I hate him. And yeah. That's not my only thing. I have a few other things that we'll get to, and Wonder will be joining me later on to talk about another one of my pet peeves or my hates about the fandom. Okay, so getting into it, first of all, the biggest thing I hate about this man is that people apologize for him so much. Like, they just forget what he did. They forget that he's, like, literally tried to kill Callum. Like, they just forget. And, like, I know that's what happened in the, like, main thing. Like, Callum just is like, hey, I'll forget it. We'll just forget it. No, you can't forget about when someone literally threw you across a whole dimension and called you all these names and was literally planning on ruining your entire reputation because he's a piss baby. Okay, like, sure, you need to understand that I am very much into cultures, and I will background check all these cultures and I will get into it. But I need everyone else I need you to understand that they are from an Arabic culture, if that is not very clear to you. Callum is based off of the Sultan, so obviously his family follows Sultan rules, which means that there is the Sultan and then there's the Sultan's consort palace. The consort palace has tons of consorts, right? It's a thing. If you don't really know about this, you can Google it. You can look it up anywhere you want. I don't need to explain it to you, but I'm going to anyways because it kind of ties into something that a lot of the fandom sees is Jemmy Kali and Callie. And that is them getting together. Which, first of all, if we're following the Sultan's rules, Callum could possibly get together with Jamil if he wasn't an indentured servant. Now, here's where you have to remember that Jamil is literally an indentured servant to Callum's family. He's an indentured servant, and I don't know if you know what an indentured servant is, but I will give you the basis. I will give you the rundown. Basically a slave. It means that Jamil's past ancestors, and we do know that his family has been serving Camille's for generations. And what it means is that someone in the ancestry needed a big loan or needed money or some sort of thing to kind of live, I guess. And Callum's family helped that ancestor. So the ancestor was put into a loan type situation. And because they couldn't pay back the loan, for obvious reasons, the next course of action is to do servitude. Like you're working for a paycheck, but that paycheck goes straight to your boss because you're working on a loan-based thing. You're paying your boss right away. But that money was such a large amount that they've been serving that family for generations. And there's a good chance that they're still going to be serving them for generations past or future. So that means that unless Jamil can pay his way out, which most likely he cannot, because it is a big loan, is what we are guessing, which means he would probably need millions to pay it off. And you can't really get millions to pay off your own indentured servitude. So that would mean Callum, if he wanted, could pay off Jamil. But then Jamil would be indebted to Callum even more. Even if Callum is nice and everything, that's just not how the family's going to work. That's just not how it works. You have to pay back. That's just how it's going to work. So Jamil can't be a consort to Callum. Sorry, I'm getting back. I'm full circling. You'll have to deal with my ADHD. Callum cannot have Jamil as a consort because he's an indentured servant, and indentured servants cannot be consorts because consorts need to have something behind them. When you become a sultan, the families around, if you think about a monarch, a monarchy has the king, the queen, and then the duke and the duchess, and then it goes further and further. Each piece has an own land, and they do taxes to the main person. So it's kind of what the sultan is. So all these different lands, these landowners are going to pay taxes to the sultan, but they want the sultan to still protect them. And what they're going to do is they're going to give their daughters or granddaughters away to the sultan, and then they become consorts, and they live in the consort palace. The consort palace can have up to hundreds of consorts, but they are presents of good-willed nature to the sultan. If you can see where this is going, good for you, but Jamil cannot be a present. He cannot be a consort. He cannot be randomly chosen to be a consort because he is worth negatives. He is worth negatives. He also is, from what we know, biologically a male, and he cannot produce children, meaning he is even less likely to be able to become a consort because he cannot produce children. He cannot produce money. He cannot produce a lasting a lifetime connection to a high standard family because he is an indentured servant. So that is kind of my take on Kali Jammy. So moving on, why I actually hate him is because there's so many apologists. There's so many apologists for him. Like, everyone's forgetting he literally tried to murder someone. And I get it. Like, they're all villains. They're all trying to murder someone eventually in the story. But he literally threw four other people, and Grimm, across an entire dimension where we had to ride back on some murder people. Do you understand that? Do people remember that? Do you remember when he was literally manipulating Callum to force everyone to walk in the blistering heat to an oasis that barely existed? Do you guys not remember? Do you not remember him doing all these things, like throwing a big tantrum because he has to lose at a game 2 out of 5 times. Now, of course, this does tie back into his servitude. He was taught that he needed to make sure Callum was always on top. That is a servant's job. Now, of course, his parents could have been nicer about it, but they weren't, because they grew up learning that they had to make sure that their master was always on top. So that should have just been in his brain. But of course it wasn't, because he is based on Jafar. He's based on everything that needs to be booked up. Now, in this story, he's not very punished, but in Aladdin, Jafar is punished by becoming a genie and serving people. But he doesn't serve the Sultan. He serves literally anyone who picks him up. So that's why I don't like how the story is moving forward, because you've just put this person who is literally trying to murder people, manipulating them, gaslighting them, using them, and you put that person in with the exact same person they were doing that to, and you just expect them to not have any more problems. Now, if you don't remember, it is also kind of mentioned that Jamil's parents are very worried about how Jamil treats Callum and the rest of the family. They're very worried because they have a reason to be worried. Because if they don't continue out their indentured servitude, I will let you guess what happens to them. Because it is not pretty. So there is a reason why, no matter what, Jamil will always have to serve Callum. And as soon as his parents will find out what happened, as soon as they find out that he was manipulating, he was hurting, he was fucking gaslighting that bitch, he's gonna get it. And I mean, he's gonna get it. He's gonna get years in prison. He's gonna get beat up with a chancla. He's gonna get fucking... I hope you understand. He's not going to last. And literally, you need to understand that this man has done some pretty shitty things. Like, of course, all of them have done some pretty shitty things, but no one else... Like, they understand that, but no one seems to understand this about Jamil. Which is why it really pisses me off, because I will see so many fanfics where he's like this cute, caring person and whatnot. But no, that's his like fake identity. He's not a cute, caring person. He is Azul. If you look at Azul, he is literally a bitch. A bitch on a mission to be a bitch. And as soon as they call Jamil out, right before he overblot and stuff, and you can't blame it on the overblot, because he was going to overblot. He wouldn't have overblotted anyways if he was going to overblot anyways, sorry. But these are his actual feelings. This is how he works. This is how he thinks. He thinks he's better than everyone else, because he puts himself in a position where he's always in the middle. He's always at average. He's never winning. He's never losing. That is what he's doing. He is making sure he is in the middle. He's making sure no one suspects him of being better. Because as soon as they suspect him of being better, he's going to get his ass beat back home. That's what's going to happen. And people just need to know that he's kind of a bad dude. Like, he's not some cute comfort character, but the only reason he's not continuing to manipulate and hurt Callum is because if Callum is literally paying him off, pretty much, saying, hey, you keep working for me and I won't tell anyone else about what happened. Because as soon as Callum tells someone else about what happened, Jamil's going to prison. He's going to get locked up. He is going to get beat. by his parents, by the AISM. I don't remember. He's going to get beat by them. He is going to get a longer sentence. You need to understand, he is going to get a longer sentence as an indentured servitude, which will go to all of his children, his grandchildren, his great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren, because who knows how long their indentured servitude is lasting already. And seeing as it seems to have lasted at least 3 generations, his grandparents, his parents, and his family, his siblings, that's at least 3 generations that we canonly know of. He could possibly sentence his family after him, his children, his grandchildren, his great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren, all of them. He could sentence them to longer time in servitude. So he's literally pretty much getting paid off to just behave. Which is why I hate him, because he's literally an asshole, and he acts like an asshole afterwards too. And the only reason he's being nice to Callum for like half the time is because he needs to be. You see it clearly in book 5, where he's still being a little bit of an asshole, but he's holding it back because he knows that he's going to get his ass beat if he explains it, if he talks about it. Now, moving on from my hate from him, I feel like it's pretty clear. I don't think he's like ugly or anything. He's pretty hot, but that doesn't excuse him. Moving on to the next thing, it is my displeasure of people saying characters are trans when they have clearly and canonly displayed that they are either gender fluid or just not caring. Now, Wonder will be joining me on this one, but I will let them offer in their topics later. So there is the obvious phase, which include Malleus, Lilia, and Sebek. Sebek is the only one who I would not see as being trans because he is so painfully cis, it kind of hurts. He literally, I could see him. He's so painfully a cis man. But Malleus and Lilia, they're phase, they are very strongly phase, and phase are known for their fluid like personalities with their gender and with their sexuality. Now, I've seen a lot of people labeling Lilia as a trans femme personality. Now, I could see it, but I can't, because Lilia is, canonly a fae, canonly not caring, just going for it. Now, another person who is canonly said they do not care for gender stereotypes is Vil. Now, Vil is someone who is often interpreted as trans femme, and I feel like it is wrong to put this person as a trans femme because he has just canonly said he does not care. He wears heels, he wears makeup because it makes him look nice. The only thing he cares about is looking pretty, beautiful, looking fabulous. That is all he cares about. He does not care about his gender. He does not care about what he's wearing and what it reflects on his gender because he's confident in that. Now, another one is Epple. Epple is a little bit of a different story for me. I think Epple could possibly be transmasc. And by possibly, I mean like a 10%. Like, look at his grandma. He looks just like his grandma. it could just be he's got really heavy genes from her, but I could see it as he's trans-masc, and that's why he's in this all-boys school, and that's why he's getting so pissy when Vil refers to him with feminine words like pretty or cute. But again, I don't really see it because he is kind of raised on a farm. He probably doesn't even know these words. And maybe he is. But I'm thinking like a 15% chance that he is. Like, there's not a huge percentage where he actually is. Like, he's got a pretty heavy cis forming going. He's got the audacity of someone who is a cis man. He is very clearly cis, to me at least. Like, if you've met someone who is trans-masc, you know that they still kind of act like they don't have the audacity of a cis man. The audacity between a cis man and a trans-masc person is that there's a huge difference. And it is simply clearly that Apple has the audacity of a cis man. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, but this is my thoughts. These are my thoughts. And I know they're going to be a bit picky because they're weird and they're a bit pissy at people, but like, this is my thoughts about the fandom. Like, the fandom just like treats the characters like they can just all be trans because they all look like cute little fucking femboys. They're not. They're just canonly not caring. If you look at the storyline, if you actually read the books, like, they just don't care. Vil has on countless occasions told everyone how he does not care. And if you look into the actual Fae mythology, they don't care what you are. They don't care what they are. They only care what they can stick their dick into. Okay? Now, if you have any debate back to me, I know you've clearly heard a few debates between me, Talissa, and Wonder about the whole Jamil thing. You can go ahead and add to it, but I'm not going to listen to you because I'm very strong in that feeling where he clearly needs some help. But obviously, you know, he's getting through it. I just feel like he shouldn't be so loved. And then there's also just like the trans theory. I'm just ranting about it. You don't have to be upset at me. I'm not mad at anyone who does that. I'm just saying these are my thoughts. These are my feelings. These are like canon things that I'm pointing out. If you don't like them, that's cool. Again, these are my thoughts and my theories. They do not belong to anyone else in this podcast. They don't have to belong to anyone else. But thank you for listening. Have a good time. All right, so to start off, we do have to explain that we're not dismissing anyone's headcanons or their beliefs on certain characters within the game. This is just our personal feelings on some headcanons and stuff and how we see them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just want to say, I'm here now. Yeah, it would be pretty hypocritical of me to do that, considering if you scroll far enough on my main AO3 page, you will literally find a work titled Wonder's Twisted Wonderland, Gender and Sexuality Headcanon. So,
yeah. So, we're not, like, trying to change anyone's views on anything, but, like, yeah. So, This is just a little bit of, like, our feelings on, like, a lot of the fandom has been pushing their headcanons of how the characters identify in their gender, and just kind of pushing those headcanons onto a bunch of other people. And It's kind of annoying. Which is why this is part of the hate episode. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
One of the main... Yeah, go ahead first.
Okay.
Go.
Oh. No, this is your episode. You go.
No, just go.
I was gonna basically just start right in. You mentioned it because I have listened to your recording. Specifically, Vil. I have seen people forcing that headcanon everywhere. Like, it's all over. And people just keep insisting on it. And it's just like... That one isn't necessarily in the same vein as, like, the rest of the headcanons, I feel like. Why I personally don't like it. Because that is a media literacy thing. That it's like...
Yeah.
If you think that Vil is trans, you just don't know the character.
Yeah. It's more like if you've actually read book 5, and now this is spoilers for book 5, but it's very clear and very canonically explained that Vil just doesn't see gender as a gender. He just does. He wants to be beautiful. He's beautiful. That's it. He doesn't see makeup as a gender. He doesn't see clothes as a gender. So when a lot of people have been like trying to transfemme him just because of his makeup and his clothes and the fact that he wears heels all the time, it gets really fucking annoying. Yeah, because bro's just out there living his best life, looking beautiful as fuck. And people are like, oh, obviously you're trans femme. Even though he's just clearly stated that he's not. He's just beautiful. That's how he sees himself.
I just want to point out, good example of, like, a person who is kind of like Vil in real life. Jeremy the T, who is, like, one of my favorite influencers. I fucking love him. He wears skirts and bows and heels and makeup all the fucking time. Doesn't make him any less of a guy.
Yeah. And I feel like people forget that, like, clothes don't have gender, and they're trying to, like, gender these clothes that Vil wears. And it's just annoying. But that's Vil's whole thing. He pretty much says that to him, nothing has gender. And yeah, so it gets really annoying when people are like shoving that headcanon that Vil is trans femme down your throat. Because you're like, bro, please stop. Yeah.
Now, reverse side of the coin, Epel.
Yeah, Epel.
I know you have very specific views on Epel that are not the same views that I hold. Speaking of that, just want to reiterate, Caden has said it. Just want to make sure it's very, very clear. The views on Jamil expressed in this episode are not shared among all 3 hosts. It's just Caden.
I wish it was. I wish it was shared.
It's not. It's not.
It's not.
He's like one of Talissa's favorites, and I'm fairly neutral on him, so.
Pain.
Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Epel. Yeah, my views with Epel are like, I see him as very cis. It's very clear that Epel is a dude, regardless if he is a trans masc person or not. I feel like it shouldn't be discussed, because even if someone is trans, it doesn't necessarily mean they want to be known as trans, especially in Epel's case. Like, Epel is so clearly against being feminized by Vil, even though, like, Vil is like, oh, this doesn't have a gender. I don't understand why you feel like you're being feminized. You're just being beautized, or whatever that word is. And Epel's just, like, really pissed off about it because he wants to look all rough and all this. But I personally don't think anyone should be, like, referring to Epel as, like, trans, because to me he seems like he just wants to be known as that rough, rugged person, and not, like, just because he's trans, if that makes sense. So even if he was trans, but yeah.
Yeah, you know how I feel. I very do much, like, I don't feel the same way. I very personally do very much headcanon at Bella as trans because I, as a queer and, not cis person, relate to so many of his experiences, specifically in the context of dance, because I have a lot of dance experience, and so I know how that feels being a trans person in a dance space, and a lot of what Epel goes through, like I said, I relate to. I have experienced very, very similar things in real life, but I do I do see where you're coming from, that like he's probably not they haven't explicitly said anything, but he's probably not trans in canon, so we shouldn't just state it as fact. However, I feel like we can all agree that his story, his backstory, and his experiences with Bill are very trans coded. Like,
yes,
they are relatable to a lot of trans people.
They're so transcoded. But like, they're transcoded to me as well, because like I'm obviously not a cis person and stuff, but like, yeah. He's so transcoded, but like, obviously it's just a headcanon. And again, it was the whole forcing it down everyone's throat that no one likes.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the next topic? Wait a sec.
Hello?
My headphone died on me. How rude.
Oh no.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Wait, my headphones died.
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Oh no. Hello?
Can you?
Yeah, okay, now I can.
Can you hear me?
Yep, okay. Little technical difficulties.
You good?
Yeah. Little technical difficulties. It's all right.
Woo.
My headphones just died.
This is only our third episode. You can't expect us to be perfect at this just yet. I'm keeping that in the edit because I don't want to take the time to edit that out.
That is so fair. Okay. Now, the next one is a huge topic. It's the Fae in this story. Now, if you don't know what Fae are, then why are you watching Twisted Wonderland? Fae are commonly known as being very fluid in their identity, in their sexuality, and literally everything, because their whole plan is just to
nothing that we are about to say applies to Sebek.
Yeah, nothing
that we are about to say applies to Sebek.
True. So like they're very fluid in their identity, and that's just something that they do. And sorry, I got distracted. So a lot of the times I've been personally, the whole reason why this was brought up in the first place is because I was talking to an AI, Lilia, who kept being referred to as she. And like, obviously it bothered me a bit because I was like, okay, fine, let's put the long-haired femboy looking bitch and call him a she. Let's do it. Why not? But I was very bothered by it because I was like, all right, please stop forcing this onto me. Like, I've been using this AI for like forever and whatnot, and it's never done this to me before. So obviously they changed the coding. And then we just started talking about how like Fae are very fluid. So like obviously these Fae children, Mal and Lilia, and like literally anybody else who's a Fae is just very fluid in their sexuality and their gender. And that's just a normal thing. Like that's just how the mythology works in like every story about Faes ever. So, I mean, I guess it's fine to like refer to them by different pronouns and stuff. But like at the same time, you shouldn't focus on just one because they're Fae and they float around. They're very fluid and stuff. And that's why they don't seem to care a shit ton about how they dress or how they look. They have long hair or short hair, and Malice has his little fucking mullet, which I keep forgetting it's an actual fucking mullet. And every time I'm reminded, I'm like, ew, he should cut that. But, you know, he can have his little mullet.
I love Malice's hair.
I keep forgetting it's green. His hair is green tinted. And it's just...
It's teal!
No, it's totally green tinted.
No, green is like Sebek's hair. Malice is like... His hair is like teal.
I guess. Okay, I'm just holding my dog's paw right now because she's being a little butthole. But yeah,
okay,
so
not
like,
maybe not teal, but like a turquoise.
Yeah, but
it's not green because it's got blue.
Yeah, okay, it's definitely got like this bluish tint. It looks like his hair was set on fire and like it cooled into a dark black. That is how I see it. But I keep forgetting his hair isn't fully black. And when you notice he has like a teal ass mullet, you're like, what the fuck, bro? How the fuck does a crown prince have a teal ass mullet? Yeah, and then you remind yourself he's Fae. So a lot of the things so a lot of the things with like Fae, obviously, like canonically, they refer to them all as he because they're in an all boys school, which I understand. But like at the same time, they're very gender fluid. So like just changing these characters from one pronoun to the next without like actually being fluid with your pronoun use, it feels a bit harsh. I mean, sure, these characters wouldn't care in the slightest possible bit, but I care because I'm annoyed. Like, I don't want to refer to Lilia as she all the time. I would prefer to refer to Lilia as whatever the fuck I wanted. Like, oh, you little vampire. I would just refer to him as that. It'd be a lot easier. Okay.
I feel like we keep cutting each other off. I can barely hear you.
Oh, oops, sorry.
It's okay. Anyway, like they're saying with pronouns, or as they were saying with pronouns, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm going to a little bit. I feel like an example of that would be like my one Twisted Wonderland fic that I've written. Every Rose Has Its Thorns. The way that I did Malice's pronouns in that, because I do, again, pretty much being a hypocrite here. I don't care. I do consider Malice as like a gender, so I use any pronouns for them. And I, like, in that fic, I just, every sentence, I would switch pronouns. It's just, yeah. In my headcanon, Lilia uses neo-pronouns. So, yeah, but...
Oh, pain. Sorry, I was muted because a cat came into the basement and started playing with the dog. And by playing, I mean attacking each other. Okay, but yeah, I have yet to read that of yours, and I really want to, but I keep forgetting.
Come on, it's been fun.
Bro, I have ADHD, leave me alone. Okay, I'm gonna mute again.
You haven't read my pod together fic either. Is that what you were about to say?
Yeah, I haven't either.
Oh my god!
I do have to mute again because
you
the
call
animals
yourself my friend.
I am sorry. I do have to mute again because the animals are still being buttholes. If Wonder wants to take over for a few seconds.
Oh, I don't know. This is your episode. What? I don't know. I guess. What do you want me to say? I'm just gonna reiterate. Nothing that we're saying in this section applies to Sebek. He is like, of the students, he is the most cisgender character in the game. Obviously, Vargas beats him out by like a mile, but you know, of the students, Sebek is the most cisgender, and I just find it so funny that he's that and also Fae.
Yeah, for a Fae, he's like extremely cisgender, and it's kind of funny. Like, how the hell you have a fae and it be cisgender? Yeah. I mean, yeah, because Sebek is just... Sebek.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, he's half fae, so it kind of makes sense, but...
I guess. I mean, a half fae being raised by a grumpy old man... That makes sense.
Hey, no spoilers!
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. We didn't, say his name or anything. I was about to. But...
He's so hot.
No!
The face I just
Change
made.
topic. No more talking about that.
No more talking. No more spoilers. Anyway, yeah, so Sebek is cis. And that's just I feel like no one can refute that. There's no possible way. I feel like his only identity is Waki-sama. Okay. Was that it? I feel like that was it.
I feel like that was it.
Yeah. So that's the end of my hate episode.
Featuring me. I'm just kind of here to offer a slightly different perspective and get a little bit of discussion in the last few minutes.
Yep.
20 minutes.
Yeah, last 20-ish minutes. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I will shut up now if you want to record your outro on your own. Okay.
Oh, okay. I have to record an outro. Thank you for listening. Yeah. Okay, thank you for listening to how I dislike things in the game and why I dislike things. Yeah, and see you next episode. All right. Okay.